really needs.
Allies.
I mean, but CTM and Palace don't need to be playing with the rest of the team, right? They will in this instance, as they actually end up underneath the ward.
They're going to fight this. Going with the Aghanim Scepter, we'll see if this is going to be the case. An instant assassination of the Pangolier, but the buyback's going to come into the fray. Looks like Boom still feel like they're in a position to hunt down for more. Can they play around the high ground of Execration? Boom, in fact, is going to look to try and jump them forward. They can kill off the illusion, who's pretty squishy at the moment. Nice sidestep as now RR will reveal his position. He's already got the blink. Get back into a safer area of the map.
No need.
FBZ, they've got Swap. The rest of the team's still nearby, but Bob's going to TP through. He's got enough mana to burst him down. They will end up losing the illusion, but feels like you've got enough out of it, RR. Not enough mana here for the ultimate, but again, they won't even need it. So Execration showing some signs of life here.
Pull themselves right back into it, and again, all the while, Tino has been sitting on the upside farming.
This is huge as well, that the line is... We've just been consistently highlighting that every 160 seconds you can make plays. Now you're reducing that by a minute. So that gives you burst to blow up the eye before the mech, a target if you're going for a core instead. I mean, now you're not as reliant on the window of finger, but it's still going to be huge. You see the attempt? They're looking to connect to top where CTM and Palace is combined.
They have the damage.
Start instant swap back into the Hex. It'll set up for the Arrow. They've got the damage to kill off the IO. But yeah, the Gyro a little bit, much more of a difficult task.
Way too beefy to be able to get the IO. I was having a look at what Bob's TP was. It still had about 25 seconds left on the cooldown, and he was all the way back in base. So right decision to choose to go onto the IO there.
We actually seem like we have a ball game. I was really worried that the Ancients getting claimed from Boom, I think it was split minorly into Execration. The fact that they have somehow sorted some resemblance of a game here, I'm very impressed. Swap for FBZ into the Hex. We've seen this previously. I think it was it SMG that we saw run it? At least there was a team that we saw run it through Pro Series. It was just so clean. Swap, instant Hex, a great way to follow up. You were highlighting the arrow potential earlier, but this seems just a lot less of an opportunity to make mistakes.
Yeah, much lower margin for error. As long as you get that pre-cast off and going to go for any kind of swap, you always have vision on the person. So that instant, it's not a script. It's really well coordinated together as a team. I mean, I think only one time the finger hasn't actually gotten him the extra damage, so plus 160 now.
The prize is mine.
725 base. Exactly what they need to be able to go for these bursts continuously.
So we haven't really seen the full team fight prowess come into play here for Boom shortly. It does look like they're grouping up for a smoke, but every time they make this attempt, it's Execration that are mirroring this with their own Moonlight Shadow. This time, they'll be off the mark with predicting their movement to the triangle as Tino's got to get out fast. Okay, he will. Nice scan.
Thinking, all right, he's in the region. There's no reason that he would leave just a single Ancient Black Dragon available. Odd enough that they went for this attempt with Yopaj just having lost the Aegis quite recently, about 2 or so minutes ago. Plays team now, so again, worst damage threat the Lion has. Also got that AoE threat with this Queen of Pain.
Yeah, we see Yopaj has had an exceptional performance with how he was able to body kind of the rising position too and Bob in the mid lane. And I'm trying to scurry through. Maybe coming out on the Choreo? Well, Playhard's got Blink, which is going to be a big timing. Yeah, smoke coming out for CTM.
They found Yopaj. That Blink Dagger won't be able to be used while during the Rolling Thunder, but going to be enough value there. Actually, yeah, he gets off the Fey Grenade while rolling through. That not even tree juking is going to be able to save you. That, I mean, was that a smoke used as well? No, he's still holding on to it. I was about to say, if they popped another smoke, then I feel like that would be a stage where XCTN could feel really confident about continuing their push forward. Well, they're just going to group up around this Medusa. The Vengeance Sora helping the damage.
Wanted to Palace, the Iron needs to protect him, but the Earthspark won't give an opportunity. It's finally XCTN that crossed their side of the map and look to find a big old team fight. As they'll trade a 2 for 1, they might even make it a third as well. It's FBZ. It's got a decent amount of movement speed to utilize here, but it's not enough. It's XCTN. Now have the net worth lead.
Middle tower is under attack.
They are well and truly back in.
Yeah.
My lord.
I mean, the casual user might look at the, viewer might look at the Marauder and think, man, this guy's holding on to so many of his Spirit Guns. He's up to 7. That's just because they've just gotten kill after kill after kill. Every single team fight, essentially they get 3 kills in the time that it takes for it to come off cooldown once.
This is a huge pickup for Rage and Potato as well. Of Vlad's for Tino, just funneling everything you can. It's just trying to buff him up. Like, Tino needs to be the raid boss this game. Without a doubt, needs to be so survivable because you don't have a teammate tanky. Like, maybe the Venge can get to that stage because of your second life presence, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Solar Crest from someone at some stage.
Yeah, we see the different ways that Avengers like to build their second item after the Aghanim Scepter, right? So many times we see the SNY just because, you know, it's another one of those abilities that's still going to give you a lot of base extra movement speed. It's going to give you some decent right potential even when you're in your illusion form. But, I mean, the other way to go is just like this, you know, into auras, so that no matter if you get picked off first, you're still going to be buffing up through important carries like the Medusa.
And you were speaking about the level issue that quite often the position one has when you're combined with the Gyrocopter, and it's kind of showing right now. Impellus 3 levels behind the Medusa, who is still considering his 20 talent, but is this... Well, he actually went Scardy on Tino instead of Butterfly, okay. Very, very solid against the double range carry that Boom have.
Also, you know, he'll be... With that little bit of extra experience overall, the levels is already up to level 21. Level 25 is incredibly effective against all they found here.
Try and bring down Ragey Potato. See if they can... Looks like they should be able to occupy the area and make sure they kill him off a second time as well. So can they get an objective out? In fact, it's actually XCTN that are looking for a pick off as Boom. They converge out of the area. They're still actually coming back nearby, but BDZ freshly grieves completely to get rid of the Atos. Yokosh jumping forward. He'll target down the line, and I don't think XCTN want to stick around now.
Still got the objective up, right? You finished your level 15 on the Lion. He's got 6 Finger of Death bonus kills. Some extra value coming through there. And ends up putting it into the max health per Finger of Death kill. Amp up his damage from now on. HP from now on. EDZ as well. I mean, you talk about what a Gyrocopter is good at. You've got a Butterfly on the Medusa queued up next, so that's obviously going to be very effective against a Gyrocopter and being able to deal with his right-click potential. Same sort of thing with Yopaj, who went for the plus 30 attack speed. Level 15, but you know, you're going to have the Marauder, you're going to have the Moonlight Shadow available, and now that he's level 16, you've got that extra 20 evasion that it's going to be able to provide you in the middle of all these team fights for your entire team. So it doesn't matter if you're, you know, doing actions or anything like that, you can still play
Let's hit the target, CTN, let's see if they can get the relocate once again fast enough. The swap away to the tether, oh, so close. Boom. They're looking to rejoin mid though. The instant TPs die. They're surrounded the area as well. They're going to try and burst down the line, which they will be successful of. They're extra abilities from RI will be casted through this fight, but Tino and the Gyrocopter looking to battle it out at the moment. Can they target through FBZ and swap back into the Medusas enough to claim the kill? And now Bob's got a decent amount of mana to play with as well. There's no escape for Play Hard. As Execration would trade multiple kills against Boom, they also forced the buyback of CTN.
And there's a juicy arcane rune as well waiting for Bob on the top side of the river, so they can keep going. You know, the glyph was used previously to be able to defend. And yeah, sit behind Tina, you've got the Vlad Dora pumping out bonus damage onto him.
I like this switch up. Jara's gonna go MKB. Yep. Instead, I believe he had Skadi queued up, which is still going to be a good item as the game goes on versus Medusa, but you need this MKB for the fights right now. It could just get to a stage where Execration could grow too big of a lead, and I would never have expected them to be the ones to taking the first set of barracks. The arrow, oh my god, that Execration just blow up Cluster, and the Sonic Wave ends up tickling them with the Grief Sustain, and Tino's just gonna stand his ground. Rupture me, I don't care, Play Hard is almost falling. Luckily enough, the one last bounce, but Bob, that's a long zip in. No chain control, simultaneously, Yopaj is in trouble. He committed with the blink. Execration, 2 heroes down. They're going to look to maybe start hitting some tier 4 towers. I mean, there's still all the outer objectives.
Tower is under attack.
Have to respond with something, and well, luckily enough, it's just the siege creep that's still here inside the base, so it's dealing with a building. He's not going to run into his tower.
Oh, they just can't get this close. Time and time again, we've seen. And the clock's up in 55. What has she got? BKB still on cooldown, Sonic Wave as well. They
Can't get too
feel...
keen here. You've got the Gyrocopter in 10. I feel like you don't have the damage unless you wait for it.
Execration aren't going to give them an opportunity though. They have to make a play. You have to make a stand. But how do you kill off Tino? He might just target the throne here. And Bob will do the dirty work to clean up the heroes. Now they'll target the drone. Execration, how have you come back? How have you taken this game? Oh my god. What a goddamn performance.
I mean,
Radiant must choose. Diamond's turn to pick.
Together with like, I was about to say a Slaughter or something, but you've already got a Beast. Got the Tiny, who I feel like cannot work as that position. Unless, it's only really been Zhao, I think, on the old Neon that I've seen play the Tiny in the position 5 role, and I think that was paired together with a Madness, where they would like toss into a skewer back underneath the tower to get the kills super early on. But
I think in the issues they had in game 1, like we didn't see the easiest way for them to start fights, and now you got Beast and Tiny. I do not believe Tiny mid versus Conquer is the greatest just because of the lack of armor. Conquer can fight you, so I also want the Iris Slark together. You were speaking about the Leshrac. It is definitely one of the best ways to deal with Slark with all the AoE damage. It gives you some push, which they were very much... It was a necessary pick. Your last pick is very easy to ban out. A hero to deal with Slark that also can give you way to take objectives. But now you've got one of the holes at least ticked off here with the Lesh, and also kind of identified the Slark, so your carry pick doesn't have to be as fully focused in that regard.
I'm trying to think, like, have we seen Raging Potato play much track as well? Honestly, haven't seen him play a ton of Lesh or the Conquer in recent. So
I do not believe you want Conquer 3.
No.
Shanking, where it's a question. We don't see. I don't have a good read on Lesh. If I want to get my read on Lesh, I look at China because they played in a lot of roles. If they were going to attempt it as a 1, then against Slark, I wouldn't mind it because of the matchup.
I want this Lesh to be 1. I want this Lesh to be position 1.
So, is it the lane matchup with the Bane, and also how he plays versus Slark?
Yeah, and you're also pretty speedy, so you would be able to get away from any kind of like toss attempts. Also, just might look to level up a few more points into the Lightning Storm just to deal with the boars, which I feel like they're kind of lacking a little bit at the moment.
10 seconds remain.
Yeah, I think you just need to pump a ton of farm into this Leshrac. I mean, it's not bad in the mid lane either, assuming that it could potentially be against the Slark. And again, they've got the last overall. They've got the last overall pick, right? Okay. So they can make that choice.
You can't have Slark into Conquer, like other way around. Conquer can't play that matchup. So So if the Lesh is a 1, then I think you can opt into someone like a Sand King just to play Mirana Sand King together to set up for Arrow. The only issue is that then Slark has a way to disrupt the combinations, which could be a bit more of an issue. Well, for Boom, they think this is at least a Tiny 2, which is interesting.
You reckon Boom could Sand King here? It doesn't reveal either, which is always nice. The lanes exactly. We've seen Yopaj play Sand King mid plenty of times.
Gives you team fight, gives you a stun, a catch as well for Io, so it fulfills that, but it just feels like it doesn't look good with their lineup. You've got a Beast Tiny Sand King. Like I want a ranged 4 with the Beastmaster that.
No, tossing back into a couple of boars seems pretty damn effective. You reckon that's it?
They can flex it. It's not set in stone of where the Wind Range is going or the Tiny. I think it's more than likely a Tiny 2. They're going to pair the Wind Ranger Beastmaster together. I always go off the back of... I don't think we see a lot of dual melees unless it's a Darkseer. That's the exemption.
5 seconds.
You've got a minute to make their choice. So... we're thinking it's a core. We're thinking... Again, though, you're very happy to run this Conquer into the Tiny. I feel like you're reasonably happy to run it into the Wind Ranger as well. Especially with, like, any kind of X combos. It makes a Mirana's rotation really impactful against the Wind Ranger.
So I think they're looking for a carry. They might run... It's
either a carry or an offlane.
Yeah.
They're looking as.
The carry's the question on what they want.
Do they want something that's able to, like, split the IO away, like a Mars, potentially? just for like a blink spear.
So like, it's a very fast-paced lineup. You're not going to scale too well. I guess Boom don't either as much. You could, I don't, off morph ranged as well. You need a melee. Is Monkey King available? They go Gyro.
Make the ultimate choice.
What are these lanes?
So
Reveal your secrets, Boom and Execration. Yeah, alright, you're playing the Bane. That was all. The Palos. Yep, so it's a Yopaj mid tiny. Where are these Kunkka and Lesh going?
It has to be off Lesh. Like, the reason why they might do Conqueror with the Mirana is just for melee and also for a mediocre setup for Arrow. But I just feel like this is, yeah, mid Kunkka just feels so much better against the Tiny. Like, until Tiny's level 6, you're going to have a pretty damn easy time. Of course, Yopaj is a very good player, but it'd be great but have to deal with not having any armor against a Tidebringer. Rage Potato playing the Leshrac, you know, good to be able to deal out some split damage potentially to CTM, but I feel like the main priority for BDZ this game is just making sure the creep wave is they've got very strong setup. It feels like the rotations from both twos, they're going to come through at a pretty consistent rate. Very reliant, I believe, on runes, unless there's heavy dive attempts. So to keep that in mind, I think Boom are going to have a lane where they'll be shoving out a lot more than regular. So that could give Bob an opportunity to TP down. Execration have a pretty strong safe lane, I believe, just because Bane's a strong support, and I've seen way too many lanes where this Nightmare can set up into an ability, and I think you can do that with Homing Missile. But
yes, and at least in terms of you mentioned that the mid laners are both very capable of rotating and making a lot of rotate to, because you want a mid rotation to potentially result in a tower being taken as well. So if Yopaj is going to rotate, it's going to be to the Beastmaster lane in my eyes, right? Because then you could look to use that pick off to convert into a tower. Whereas, you know, on Execration's side, I feel like they've got decent tower take with a Gyrocopter and a Leshrac, so it doesn't really matter where Bob's looking to go. Or hell, it could even be that Bob gets people rotating through to his lane, and then, like I said before, with that X into Arrow combo, it could be the mid lane tower that actually ends up being taken. Not going to screw up the smoke this time. Going for the cheeky conga line play. Doesn't seem like to go for them.
is there a team we're favoring here in the second game? Do you feel like anyone really has a draft edge at all, or do you feel like it's pretty even?
Just 30 seconds now.
I'm a little worried about how they're going to deal push quite easily. I'm talking Execration, like how are you going to be able to counter this Beastmaster if FBZ has a good lane? Will he have a good lane though? That's the question. I mean, this game in my eyes is heavily reliant on RR. I thought he had a fantastic game number one. So if they're able to get kills set up early on, Bane, I'm feeling a lot more confident with Execration. So given how he performed in game number one, I'm going to say Execration.
I do believe if Lesh has a decent lane on Ragey Potato, he probably goes... I think you go utility, and quite often 3 is like a mech into Greaves eventually, and then he might have to go Hood for the early magic damage from the Tiny. Maybe, or a Cloak might be enough, so we'll see. But I feel like if Lesh has a decent time, then he can quite often actually tank up a little bit to defend the tower. It's also going to come down to how Bob's lane goes, of course, versus Tiny. But we were saying that this should be a pretty solid matchup here for Bob. They're starting with the tri lane, in fact, from Execration, looking to try and catch Boom off guard. Unfortunately, they won't do so successfully, so BDZ is instantly looking to join Ragey Potato down at the bottom lane.
We've seen this on 3-3 for Tundra Esports the most, but just this classic offlane build, only going into the Quelling Blade. No stats, no regen, nothing like that. Wanting to make sure that you're building up into that Helm of Iron Will as quickly as possible.
They did increase the gold by 25, so it's pretty much one creep, but in a lane, you know, that could be... It definitely could slow it down a little bit. I think as the game goes on, it's not too much of a difference, but it felt like it was a big item for when people were rushing it. It's nice that Tino is going to have a great way to deal with the boars as well.
Kill play hard here.
They're going to get it. And they make sure Tino picks up first blood as well. Very nicely done. I'll try and give him solo experience. I think with 2 points flak, he can start to kill off the boar. And this is going to make it very difficult now on how FBZ can play with his summons in the lane.
Having to go the first point into the power shot, only just leveling up to level 2 with the 2-minute mark happening there was play hard, so didn't have the win run just available. Obviously needing to prioritize securing that range. They died away a couple of them on Execration previously, so at least finally going to have that Helm of Iron Will coming out to run the beast faster, enabling him to stay in the lane a little bit more. A double stack by RR means that the lane's going to consistently push back, so I said that RR is going to need to have a good start to the game in order to have Execration have a good shot with this, and he's done exactly that.
The other side lane here, Rage of Potato.
Yopaj is in danger of dying here. Maybe not quite. He doesn't have the torrent, but he's already suffering quite heavily in terms of his survivability in the lane.
He's got Soul Bottle left as well. Still got the bounty to play with. Top lane though. Play hard. They just kill off the missile. Maybe RR's compromised his position. Tino's gonna have to try and prioritize the ball. Don't give up your choreo. Oh no. I think he got everything he needed off it though. So RR got another round of brain cell. Careful. War on cooldown might cost them that potential though. RR?
He should be okay. They don't have another ball for a little bit, so they can't catch Vayne. Oh, even dodging the power shot. Nicely done.
How's spot going at the moment? Rage Potato.
Mid, pop.
Oh.
He did not change the tower aggro. No, he just tossed, whacked, and threw the tree at him, and then the tower hit him 3 or 4 times because of the aggro. Well, that's one way to make sure that the mid lane goes better than expected for a Tiny.
Yeah, I guess like there's something we didn't really take into a factor. A melee matchup where Tiny, you always have this reposition factor where the tower can often act like an extra hero in the lane. And bottom as well, Rage bit third. They get a lot of damage. You can get the first stack. They can for power loss. Well, he's going to have a lot more impactful of a level 6.
That rotation, though, from BD's...
Just the Pidebringer. A little harassment, not as much as probably what they were hoping, but... Yeah, we'll see this come into a lot more effect once the Conquer gets the ultimate, which should be probably another wave and a bit away.
Be able to make the move here on Yopaj. Just going to go straight back to lane, not choosing to take to stack it up again. But he's level 6 now, still holding on to the point, wanting to see if he's in a position to potentially go for a kill, or if he gets gone on, he's just going to be able to level up that row for the bonus armor coming through.
See, about to have the power runes as well pretty shortly, so we might have our first rotation from the position 2s just off the back of this. Otherwise, again, it will be a bit more reliant. Bob giving up that kill is going to slow down the 6, of course, like we've been highlighting, but should get it now with creep. It's always nice to rotate a hero exactly when you pick up that 6. Like we're trying to make an attempt to refill the bottle, but Paj is a bit more cautious with how he's playing this at the moment.
Rock on!
They are already putting a heavy commitment on Execration to start making the stacks for the Gyrocopter. He's already got a try on mid. He's already dropped the combo. Ooh. Gets the arcane, but yeah, what is there? A double, make it a triple at the hard.
Step lively now.
Maybe an ultra.
On board.
But they only have one at the ancients, and yeah, simultaneously up by the outpost is a fat stack as well here. So Gyro's at least gonna have a nice time making his farming rotation. Slark gets eaten by the arrow. Oh, that's a big one to pick up. I think Rage Potato just the split earth, and he wasn't expecting the extra stun to fly.
By the way, did you just call a quad stack an ultra?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. I mean,
It's a long day.
yeah, I mean, we work 16 hours, so, you know. Then,
I mean, we've seen ultra kills and rampages all throughout today, so, you know, it's on the mind.
Ultra, you know, you can go for it. You can really, you can try and stretch it if you want.
See, like, you see loss and okay.
Nice.
Does that look a little weird for you with Palos still with the execration tag just saying, all right?
Yes.
As if it's like potentially on his own team.
Yeah, it's just like, you know, guys, all right, I'll respond for them. That's the play going through. Again, give me the stand-in tags, man. Just give me the stand-in tags. I miss them so much.
Arcane power.
Kind of put a little bit of pressure onto this bottom side, forcing an early-ish glyph, and going to have a rotation come through here from Yopaj, but creep wave there, it scouts it out immediately. Wasted rotation coming through here.
They're even giving the stack over to Bob as well, so...
Okay.
Be
Well, and he's going to take it as well in the time before they show up. Raging Potato.
That's a good placement. If you get ulti off, not even going to make an attempt. Okay. Bye-bye, Lesh.
Still though, it's a rotation that happened. Sure, Yopaj gets the kill, but you know, didn't end up. It caused a lot more time to be expended, and you didn't lose any significant resources on the map. Bob's still going to be able to take this ancient
Step
stack.
lively now. Your admiral is on board.
Going for another stack for himself. Yes, he will.
His farm's going to skyrocket. Meanwhile, Tino's taking a little bit of me time. A stack previously created from RR, who's also getting some nice solo experience as well. So, Execration, a much better early laning phase performance from them compared to game one. We'll see what Boom can do to look to get active. But they're going to start to rotate Yopaj down. The invis to utilize in the arsenal. Raging Potato is the target.
Eager to know
He
Dire's
won't have any backup nearby. He's actually going to split through. He just got a little bit of vision. That cloak, I do not believe this is going to make him tanky enough, as he can just start to lock onto him and steal away a majority of his essence. Bob's even going to TP in. Alice does have the ultimate. Nice attempt in the disruption from Yopaj. Is it enough to at least whiff on the torrent?
Step lively now. Your admiral is on
The deck's on
board.
cooldown. They can't lock Boom into a position with these reinforcements. So Palos going to continue to stand his ground. He's really amplified by CTM, and they give away another stack of essence.
Odd rotations coming through, to be perfectly honest. You know, just a little bit slow, underestimating the damage potential that this tiny as well as this Lark have. A lucky arrow shot, but this isn't some just pub stack. You know, these guys are going to be able to dodge the majority of just loosely thrown arrows. We saw how good Execration were at being able to combine the arrows into something really effective in the previous game, but this time around, it feels like they do need to coordinate a whole lot better.
There is little hope for Dire's.
It is giving a lot of time for FBZ to get some catch-up up top. Might even be able to find his first tower, so you can find a pretty solid timing in the help of the Overlord.
Under attack.
To get nerfed slightly, especially the ancient camps too. They're continuing to look to fight down bottom as Yopaj with the haste. He's going to charge on forward, locks onto Tino, and the burst is there to bring down the gyrocopter, and now they can turn their attention to the Raging Potato Leshrac. They don't have to damage just yet, and now with Bob showing up, they'll get some retribution. Poor Wind Ranger, no escape. Yopaj should be okay.
Just the pause 4 at the end of the day, and FBZ, like we were saying before, he's been given a whole lot more space. The buckler coming out to him, as well as the claws of attack, blades of attack, and a big creep wave as well, pushing in on this top side, forcing the gyrocopter to TP all the way towards the top to try and deal with it. Go for a relocate play if they really wanted to. They wanted to be a bit cheeky here, but no. Playhard wants to defend that bot tower as long as they can. Well, speaking of that, there's the
BTM's just going to look to join Yopaj. He's got no TP. Oh, go over. He's got a power shot.
Wrong way!
They got... They give him backswing vision?
Sorry, I thought you liked to jump.
I didn't know you got a little bit of vision behind you from it. Robin RR is going to smoke straight into the Beastmaster. A Conquer will be able to cancel off the Fiend's Grip instantly. But this is close to the towers, so they've got the reinforcements, and Bob's pretty survivable. They'll turn it back on FBZ.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
The big thing for by a few attempts, they've been able to hold back any kind of tower taking potential. Nato, he's got the Diabolic Edict maxed out, but hasn't resulted in all that much.
Your admiral is on board.
They don't luck out, and a Tiny with an Arcane Rune is one of the scariest prospects in all of Dota at super early game.
He's super close to his blink timing, yeah. He's just going to pick it up, so he'll have this one to combine with the Arcane like you highlighted. I don't believe they have a smoke to combine with it, though. Oh, they do on IO. I don't... You've used a lot of smokes recently. Let's see if they go for another.
Taj also has a pick pole available for himself in the stash, but hasn't opted to use it. Sometimes you just forget about these things. Goddamn neutral items.
So many now. And everyone can have one.
The fallen rocks.
Some Moonlight Shadow popped in response, so good presence of mind coming out here from BDZ. Realizing that they've been missing off the map for a little while now. This Hawk that RR was under the
they're going to see Tino.
Shadow.
He's got strength shreds. He's pretty survivable, in fact. 1700 health with that activated. Also, all the attributes, too. Oh, that was another smoke for Boom. They won't have one available for quite some time now, so they won't get a successful reel to blink like they were hoping for.
Big items coming out. It's a Spirit Vessel completed on the Conquer. Very important super early on against an IO, of course.
Bottom lane. Reggie Potato's been put out here. Set up. They didn't need the extra +2, but just in case anyone else was looking to shop, and well, RR is that person. Losing to Boom, taking 2 heroes. Looking to transition this into an objective as well.
I mean, that's 4 attempts that Leshrac has had to try and take this bottom tower, and 4 times he's died. So, things going really well for Boom.
He's in trouble as well. Tossback, what a shackles from Play Hard. A beautiful lash, and Tino is going a super survivable build, but they'll slowly chunk through the health pool.
They could just convert again. You know, the tower. They've got the Blink Dagger to try and pick off anyone who's looking to dribble in to the team fight. It'll be Bob that shows himself first. Anyone's in to be able to connect here, although for the Blink toss on someone a little bit squishier, like this Leshrac.
They're seeing kind of the issues that were there from Boom in game 1 now for Execration. Like, their ways to make plays, or at least the instant jump is not really showing. Like, an X is... It's not fast enough. A Nightmare into something, it feels like all of Boom are at least playing as 2. And it's going to get to the stage where it's like a 2 and then 3. Find Play Hard. Just a pick-off finally into the tier 1 tower, it seems like. But this is what they like. That's all they have, an X into an arrow.
Not reliable at all. It was really why I was thinking maybe something like the Sand King for that last pick overall, because, you know, you can still look to run someone like this Leshrac in the position in one role, and I felt like he would have done a decent job, but Gyrocopter doesn't do anything to be able to set up for this early damage potential. Just closing in on that Aghanim Scepter though, keeping this lane pushed in. An early-ish clear.
In trouble here, the damage, man, it's ramping up. Yopaj has already got the combination maxed out, the stuns. It's already used to clean off Bob, but they're even going to try and relocate for a +1. Will they get finished on vision on Tino? I believe they did. Almost Aghanim Scepter completed as well, so this is a great timing to kill him off. The toss into the center, Conqueror. The play from Boom on point in the second game. They are shutting down Tino at a rapid rate, and they're looking to transition this into more as well. Not letting the pressure off.
Literally the opposite story from what we saw in game number 1. You know, not quite to the same extent in terms of the lane dominance that Boom showed in game number 1, but Execration, they had the better end of the laning stage, but after that it just feels like nothing's connected. Every single time they've tried for an aggressive movement, they've ended up feeding a life or two away, and anytime they've tried to defend, Boom just out-executed them.
Yopaj is... He had an incredible Queen of Pain performance in game 1. And now Bob as well is in trouble. They have no care in the world diving deep under the tier 2 tower. They might have to be a bit more cautious now with the respawns coming out. The Gyrocopter cancelled his TP, and now Yopaj is even going to try and collapse on another as a tier 3 tower is no protection as Boom looking at force Execration back further and further deep inside the base. Their own territory is not safe at all.
Yeah, they've got the cliff available and they're going to eventually pop it, but just having this ancient granite golem nearby, also all of the units, you know, Illusion, the boar as well, it enables them to make this super deep engagement because you're always going to have that extra percentage bonus HP. You've got FBZ who's been able to finish up that Helm of the Overlord. And imagine...
And they are diving deep. Tino's going to reveal himself too. I mean, they had a sentry job, so there was no escape, and again he's going to fall. Another death on your Gyrocopter is Boom. The unrelentless pressure giving no breathing room at all.
So what I was saying was, can you imagine, just have a look over at the Beastmaster, just hover over Helm of the Overlord. Can you imagine, like, being new to Dota and looking at that with all the changes?
Ah, yes.
I wish there was like a simple mode for Dota Twisted, you know? And it'll just be like, lets you take over creeps and makes them really strong, you know?
A TLDR for some of the newbies.
Yeah, exactly.
I get it. You know, they need it sometimes. But Boom leading the Aegis advantage on Yopaj, beyond godlike already. And
I don't think he needs it. He hasn't died yet.
I'll just keep the flawless streak alive. And they've got some strong pairings. Slark and Io buff up his attack speed, and Io and Tiny as well. And with how Yopaj has been performing, he could definitely scale this game into maybe like a right-click build almost.
The thing that I do really like about this Boom draft is obviously
Tino,
you've got
don't do
Bob.
Oh, Tino, don't do it.
Oh no.
Nightmare. Is it going to give him some time? I will wake him up instantly and 0 time given.
Don't worry, he's got his axe.
Let's go.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
What they don't have though is
Tower is under attack.
Bit of an... They found Ragey Potato. Another catch. So they were not worried at all. With losing with the IO in the previous game, they felt more than comfortable being able to pick it up once again. 2 pickoffs in the Aegis advantage. We'll see if they want to opt into the high ground. Now, Palace doesn't have BKB. He's pretty close to it.
Yeah, he's got the ancient granite golem there to buff up his life. So again, just the boar being used to transfer over.
Yopaj just got to stop, man. And another toss back. Bob gets obliterated. completed. Pearl's going to transition this into the Mirana as well, and well, it looks like this game Boom are not going to make the mistake of giving any opportunity for Execration back into it. There's a full set of barracks claim mid, and they're going to look for top as well.
Dive's top tower is under attack.
Well, at least it's going to last longer than 20 minutes. If any of your pumps don't last 20 minutes, they don't actually show up on that quick screen that shows your recent games with the hero portraits with a win or a loss.
Again, another toss back. Compromise his positioning, but he's got ages. He does not care about feeding away the first life. The streak is still protected, and he's still got 4 heroes behind him as well. The arrow timing just shy. FPT's already got the Agnum shot as well with the Arsenal, and then even better. Shackles on to 2. They're just overlapping all of the beautiful plays from Boom. There seems to be no hope of Execration to bring themselves back in as Radiant just flooding inside the base, dropping out the consistent voice lines as well.
So what I was saying before was the reason I like this draft is that obviously the laning stage went much better than... Oh, well, all right. There it is. GG, 21 and a half minutes. The laning stage went much better for the Tiny than what we were expecting. Early kills, the kills have really